Hello Darklings, my name is Sanniz, I'm a Swedish Eldergoth, and before we start talk, let's take the intro. See you soon!
Sanniz, a Swedish Eldergoth, not just stuck in one box.
Hello Darklings, my name is Sanniz, I'm a Swedish Eldergoth, and today, just a chapter video. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but I thought we can do that, because guess what? Next Friday is actually World Goth Day, the 22nd of May. So I wonder, have you planned something? I know that my friend Starhaven might have this goth gathering again. I say might because it's planned, but you never know. Sometimes plans, But I hope so, because in that case, I will be there too. But else, I still want to talk a little bit about different things, not just about that it's gonna be World Goth Day. And I wonder, what are you going to do? Are you one of the lucky persons that go to VGT, for an example, in Germany? I am not one of them, but I wish I could. But I don't have the money, so I can't go. But my mind can be with all the people that there is in that place. So I hope they have fun at least and can see a lot of different bands and buy things they love too. From independent places too, because they probably have that too. And even the bigger brands too, of course. Because you can't get away from that when they have all those different stalls. But I guess it's mainly for meeting the people that are there and to listen to the music and dance and have a really good time. And one thing I do love with this is the Victorian picnic too, because that looks amazing and you don't really have to go to VGT itself to be part of that. And you can have it everywhere. So if you have friends and you know you have people around you with the same type of mind, you can gather together and do a Victorian picnic. Don't have to be that fancy. Just bring some music. And the phones today works very fine. You don't have to have a boombox like we had when I was a kid. So take the phone, maybe some speakers to it too, so you can play a little louder than normally, and pack down something to snack on and something to drink, and have a really good time together. That's an easy way to go and don't have to cost that much really. And I think that's something that the most people can afford. And the only thing we have to deal with is wish for a good weather, because a picnic is not that fun if it's raining, is it? But what I want to talk now most of the time is not about VGT or about World Goth Day. It's more when people are a little worried that they are not goth enough, for an example. It can be how to dress or not dress, if they wear makeup or not makeup, and how extreme the makeup is. And if you take a look at me today, I'm not that fancy with the makeup, but I think this type of makeup should fit very fine with the Victorian type of style, or even when you go for a little more simple 90s style, but it's still. And as you can see, I don't even use ordinary eyeliner, I use my eyeshadow to mark like a wing too, so you don't have to do that much. And the reason I didn't do full makeup today is because we have moments when it's really poured down with rain, and rain and makeup don't always go so well together. So I thought it's better to stay simple. And the best thing with, if you start with a simple makeup earlier in the day and it still remains very good, you can touch it up and then you can add more. And if you're a little unsure when it comes to using eyeliner, use a darker eyeshadow and just have the right brushes and you can do things. And then you can train. And it's so much easier if you do something wrong. Just take a cotton tip or something, or just a little concealer, and you can correct your mistakes too. And to tell about people from how it was back in the days, we didn't have that much things. We didn't directly have black lipstick. We didn't have all these fancy things. But what did we do? We did use those eyeliner pens. But of course, if you use it for your eye, don't use it somewhere else. Buy another pen. So I usually have one pen that was for my eyes. Back then they could be really hard. So what did we do to make them softer? We used the lighter, but be careful so you don't burn yourself after. But that's just to warm them up a little tiny bit, so you can smooth the eyeliner on better and without feeling like you're gonna poke out your eye or something just to get something black on it. And then of course I used another black eyeliner pen for doing, for example, black lips, because we didn't have all the type of crazy stuff. And that's how we did back in the days. And one tip I could say don't use today is to use hairspray to fix your makeup with, because that's not really good. But that's what we did back in the days, because we didn't have all those type of things. And I don't directly use those fix sprays anyway, and that's why I don't do too much makeup if I've been out. And I have been out already today twice. So it's not like I want to ruin too much, because then I need to start all over again, and sometimes I don't want it. And it's better to start easy during the day, because it's much more brighter. If you're not a very confident person and have perfect skin and everything like that, I'm soon 58, so I don't have directly perfect skin in that type of way. So I don't want to look like, you know what I mean. So I'd rather start a little simple during the day, and then I can touch it up and even start to do more. And you can add more colors during the night too. It doesn't matter, because makeup, you can play around with it so much. So start one way, and then you can transform your look till later. And if you're going out or something, or if you just start all over again, wash it off and start all over again. That works too. And like you can see, I don't have black nails. You really don't have to have black nails, even if it's very cool. But I think I'm gonna stick with this type of sparkly till at least this week has passed, closer to World Goth Day, because I have a job interview I'm gonna go to. So I don't want to take too much risks. And when it comes to clothing, it's you. It's not what everybody else think. If you want to go all goth up with all the type of layers and everything, do it. If you want to stay simple, do it. If you don't like to wear just black, do that too, because everything works. It's your person. And the clothes is not what makes you goth. It's what you are as a person and what kind of music you love. Because that should be more important. The rest is just an expression. It doesn't matter what type of music you have. Just go back to different type of music styles. They all have their own type of expression. But not every fan of that music are dressed that way. Remember that. And that goes for goth too. So don't feel the pressure. Don't feel the pressure to look like the modern influencers that do the modern type of trad goth style. Because that style is so completely different when it comes to the 80s and the 90s looks. And if I remember, I'm gonna try to find pics for it too, so I can show the difference too. Don't take me wrong, I love those extreme eyeliner looks and everything like that. But personally, I don't feel I fit that good in that. I don't have that young skin that most of those have, because they're not really that old either. So of course it's much easier to put on everything. And I have very hooded eyes, and I have even so the hood goes down even on the sides. So I have extremely, even when I close my eyes, I can have like a second eyelid, if you know what I mean. That's how hooded my eyes can be. And that is because I have lost a lot of weight, and that follows even that type of skin. So remember that. And when it comes to accessories, that could be everything that changes your outfit. And you can add whatever you feel for. If you like spikes and that type of extreme things, use that. And yeah, go on from there. Use necklaces, use bracelet, earrings, and you name it. There is a lot of different ways to do it. And you don't have to buy ready-made either. And sorry for the lightning goes very strange on my phone. I don't know why. So I hope that don't bother you too much. And I don't want to take a lot of different takes just to make this shadow video with you. And yeah, add your own style. And like I said, you don't have to buy ready-made. You don't even have to buy something that is jewelry from start, because you can buy chains from tool shops and that type of things. You can buy a lot of different other stuff. It's up to you how you use them. Scarves. Use scarves like belts too, in that type of way. Do a knot on one side and let it go down on the other side. That looks very cool, especially if you do some type of trad goth type of style. That's very good. And of course we have a lot of different stuff we can do. And if you're not comfy with your hair and think you have the wrong hair color, it took many years before I could realize that it's actually blonde goths too. So you don't have to have black hair. You don't even have to have straight hair either. So you don't have to stand there and try to make it as straight as possible, because you can have curly hair too. It's what you do about the situation that can make a difference. And I know a lot of different goths that looks amazing with that type of hair. Else you have wigs, of course. And you don't have to be pale like me. I'm born this way. That's my skin color. I don't have any foundation on at all. So this is how I look like. But you can have brown skin. You can have black skin. You can have whatever. Make it you. Make it goth, because we are so different and we should be able to be different. That's the beauty with everything, that everyone can have their own unique style too. And if you want to be on the top with everything, do it. If you are more laid down, do it, because there's something that is called comfy goth too. And comfy goth can be the clothes you like to be, because the most important is that you feel confident. Remember that. You feel confident. And when it comes to clothing, you don't have to buy everything after a Killstar brand or something like that. You don't even have to go and buy brand new stuff. Use what you have. Check in your wardrobe and you can still change it. Do it yourself project. It's so fancy to actually create something new. You can just use a scissor. If you can't sew, you can still at least use a scissor. Cut a lot of different holes and that type of things, and then pull them a little so you got a certain effect on it. And the effect should be something like this, but those are ready-made. But it's a little like you can imagine. It's just how much you pull it, and then you got a little like that type of effect on it too. You can take an ordinary cotton t-shirt, cut it wider up so you don't have the normal neckline. And then you can add that type of holes everywhere. Some people are also doing this type of pattern, but I'm not that good at that because it's a little harder. And you have to remember, if you're going to start doing those type of viewing, or whatever you call it, you have to have maybe a bigger size from start, because it's going to shrimp it a little more form-fitting in that type of way. So if you don't feel confident when things go too tight, start with a bigger size. You can also add other type of details, and you can put safety pins, whatever. It's up to you. So just a plain black t-shirt is enough to make it very goth in the end. And stockings, perfect. And if it goes rips in them, just make more. You marry, you know. Because that's the best thing with being goth. We love that type of trashy style. So just go ahead, and of course you can use that like a layer part 2 stockings. Just cut out so you can get out your head, and take off if you have those that still have the feet parts on it, because it's some type of legging stocking type that have openings, so you don't have to do that. But if you don't have it, cut them off and then cut so you can get out your head, and then you have it like a layer piece too. Very cool and very cheap compared with a lot of other stuff to buy. So you see, you don't have to go and buy, and you can do the same with leggings, whatever. And if you have ordinary pants, you can add a lot of different things. Add chains, add zippers, and you name it. You can actually buy a lot of type of star decorations that in metal that you can push to and just flip in the edges on the back side. It's the same when you have some type of spikes too, that is not the one that screws in. You can do a similar type of style. So it's just your imagination is gonna stop everything. How it's gonna be and what type of goth you are. And if you go for more little classy type of things, simple type of ways, and clothing that is not that visible, maybe interesting from the first look, you can actually use all your accessories and other type of layers. If you have mesh layers and you have like cover-ups, you know, those long cover-up cardigans or whatever you should call them, they are perfect to use like on top on that top. And you can transform the simplest thing to look amazing in the end. Just add bells, add accessories. And accessories, like I said, you don't have to go and buy ready-made. You can do your own things. It's the same with nose chain. It's not that hard really. You can just go find a cute bracelet, maybe for kids or something. And if you wear some type of earrings that is similar like this, you don't really have to have 2 of those closures. So it's only one, but of course you need to have something that holds it from the nose. And nose ring or a septum is the thing you need. And then you attach that part with that one, but you can put other things. And then you just have to see how long you're gonna have. But don't take too heavy, because you don't want to have a chain that is very heavy, especially if you're not used to it. But that you can also have like a cool effect too, if you want to look a little more specific. And you know, if you go to kids areas and that type of things, like on dollar store or something, you can find really cheap ones there and transform it to something. And I go sometimes and look after things that I said I can slaughter. And slaughter means that I take parts of it and make to my own projects. And I did it already back in 80s and in 90s and 2000s, because that was the way when I did my own type of clothing, even from scratch. But I wanted to add details that made it unique for me. So only thing you have to do is find your own style, and that's what I think is important, and that's what I feel. Always say, you need to feel comfy. You need to feel confident in your look. So don't try to look like someone else if that's not your style. Of course, you can start with one level and then level it up over time, because if you get more used to it, maybe you feel that, oh, I can experiment a little more and do it, because then you know. But if you feel like, oh, I can't go out this way, that is probably a little too much for you, because tone it down a bit, try to feel comfy, go out and see, oh, nothing happens. Maybe some people stare, they will always stare anyway. It doesn't matter if you think you don't look that special, they're still gonna watch, because if you don't look like the mainstream people, they watch. It's just enough if they have like a beige or pinkish fashion for the year or the season, and you come in your black clothes, they're gonna stare. And they're probably gonna ask, which funeral are you going on? And you know the clever answer there? Maybe yours, because I'm ready for it. You know what I mean. And then when it comes to music, remember that goth are very wide. It have a lot of different umbrellas too, so it can depend on what type of taste you have, and even inside the same type, people can think different. It's little like Bauhaus, for example. Many people love Bauhaus and love Peter Murphy. I don't like Peter Murphy, but I do love some of the Bauhaus songs. I prefer Daniel Ash when it comes to Bauhaus, but that's another case. But instead, I am a big Sisters of Mercy fan, so Sisters of Mercy will always be in my heart. But you don't have to stick in the old times either, because there's so many new bands out there too. So I think, open your mind, be ready to explore, because it's great music there. And the best thing to actually do that is to connect with other goths all over the world, because remember, one goth scene can have some type of fashion to looks, to makeup, and even when it comes to the music, was played in the clubs or played by those goths. And it's just go and check, and you're gonna maybe discover something new. And if they check something back, they might also discover something new, because in your own scene or in your own taste, you maybe have something they don't have heard before. And it can be new things, it can be old things. You should be surprised to know how much music is out there that goes under goth that we don't even know and don't even remember and haven't heard yet, but it's still there. So that's what I think is amazing. So keep your mind open, and remember, for being a goth, you don't have to listen to just goth music. Of course, you can listen to other stuff too, as long as you love goth too. That's what makes you goth. So, but don't be afraid to listen to other stuff too, because you don't gonna lose any goth poems at all. No matter what some people say that are those bad gatekeepers in that type of way, because you should be able to listen to other stuff too. Even the musicians do that, so why shouldn't we do that? And of course, it's music. You know, when musicians and other art performers and that, when they like something from other type of things, they used to sometimes cross over the line and combine things. And of course, there are combinations that goes over the edge to different type of music. When it comes to music, it's the same with the dressing. And maybe you are more than one thing at the same time. You can be a metalhead and a goth at the same time. Yeah, you heard it right. You can. It's up to you. But you can still decide, what do I want most if I had to take a choice. And like I said, if I had to choose something, I'm gonna choose goth, because that's what is in my heart mostly, and the thing I'm never gonna be tired of, and the face I never grew out from. Even if I had a family that was wish for that, but that's another story. And like I said, in some countries it can be very hard to be a goth too, of different reasons. So we need to remember that too. So it's not that easy sometimes to be a goth, and it's not easy even in some countries like I live in either, because it's still a lot of bad things going on in this world, and that's sad. But I just want to say to people that try to stay safe, and remember, if you go to a club or something and you still need to go through different parts of the town or take the transportation or whatever there, sometimes it can be good to have either a possibility to change where you're going. There are clubs that have that type of possibility too, so you can actually change to a more club clothing. But also remember, if you have very extreme club clothing, it can be good to have something else on top, because it's still a very dangerous world we live in, and we still have problem, and there is the lightning going. And we still have the problem with people that don't accept people and think they can do whatever they feel for at the moment. Even if it's not okay even to do that to them, they're still gonna do it because you are different. At least if you look very different at the same time. That don't help. Sorry, had to change position because the lightning goes a little crazy and my phone don't want to play around when the sun goes forwards and backwards. At least it's sunny right now. It could be rainy, but that don't have to do with this video, does it? What I want to say that I think that people should try to find themselves, feel confident. We are all baby bats in the beginning, no matter age. And remember, being a baby bat have nothing to do with your age. Is if you just came to the scene, maybe even just interesting from start, because everybody start from one part. We are not goths, wow, they can everything from start. And even I, that been in the scene since the 80s, still learn new things. I still discover new things. But what I like with the scene that is, we want to show respect to each others, and we should be welcoming. And we should be welcoming to everybody have the different style. Not everybody gonna look like a goth, but some people are really amazing when it comes to know everything about goth, especially the music. So don't look down on someone that don't dress goth, because they might be good goth collector when it comes to music. They can have a full room with everything about goth music. They can have all the books too. You don't know just because of you look. Remember that other people are judging you and me, how we look like. And we don't like that feeling, especially when we get treated in a bad way. So why should we treat others inside the scene the same way just because they don't look like us? Maybe they don't like to be that extreme. They're very confident to be who they are. Let them be who they are. That's the main thing. Else, I hope you're gonna have a great World Goth Day, the 22nd. I might do a little extra video for that day too, because I'm gonna work first that day. And then hopefully it's gonna be a live stream later with Star Raven, Gothic's Eternity, on her channel. And of course it's gonna be some of us goth YouTubers there. And I hope I will find everyone there too, because it's so nice with those gatherings. I just wish we had more of them sometimes, and even in real life. That should be a dream come true. Else, if you knew, like my type of content and I'm not a goth in just one box, please consider to subscribe, press the notification bell at the same time, so you don't miss anything. And for old returners and darklings, thank you for your support. You're the best. And else, stay safe, stay weird, and be nice. Thank you for watching. Love you all. Bye. See you on World Goth Day. Hello, darklings. My name is Sanniz. I'm a Swedish Eldergoth, and today we're gonna chat about little things. Hello, darklings. My name is Sanniz. I'm a Swedish Eldergoth. Not again.